While watching the Ravens dismantle the Rams on Monday Night Football, Des Bryant tweeted about how Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett could learn a thing or two from Ravens head coach John Harbaugh. Des tweeted this: Coach Garrett needs to have a sit-down with John Harbaugh and learn how to relate better with his black players. It's hard to win whenever you got a divided organization. I 100% don't believe Coach is racist. He just can't relate. Shannon, what is your reaction to Des saying this?
Skip, it's hard for me to understand exactly just what he's saying.
Yep.
When he doesn't, doesn't let the type of music that you play. I think for me, I think a player that becomes a head coach should have the easiest job being able to relate, because he's been in that locker room, Skip. 70% of the players are black when he played and currently. So you would think he would know how to interact and how to deal with black players. For me, Skip, I think it has a lot to do with the locker room. The Baltimore Ravens locker room is very, very unique. It's player dominant. Mm-hmm. And from Brian Billick to John Harbaugh, they've let the players, you do your thing, you do what you want to do. We play music loud before the game. Brian had no problem with that. You just do you. I don't get what he's saying, Skip, but I know you see John Harbaugh, the way he interacts with Lamar Jackson, putting his arm around him, saying, hey, there are kids out there that wants to be Lamar Jackson. Yep. They're buying your jersey. Maybe it has that kind of interaction. Maybe, that's not Dez. Maybe it's Dez. That's not Dak and Jason's relationship. Each coach, each player have a different, unique, especially the quarterback, Skip, have a very unique person, dynamic when it comes to their relationship.
I agree.
For us, when we were playing with Mike in the mid-'90s and we were very good, I would just, hey, like, Mike, man, we want to watch the fight. He's like, 84, who's fighting? That's what we went by numbers. He's like, 84. I like Tyson Holyfield. Okay, hey, no problem. He'd say, but hey, I'm counting on you to get them ready now. Yeah. No problem. That's how it was. So Skip, unless he can give me some context of what he's talking about, it's hard for me to understand. Every coach is not going to be, but you think Coach Belichick ain't rapping this. He hugging guys coming off the field to make a good play. But he ain't walking down the sideline, up and down the sideline with his arm around their waist and all that stuff. No. Coach Belichick ain't telling. Coach Belichick is not telling no player, hey, they're going to be guys growing up that want to be like you. You revolutionize the game. Coach Belichick ain't doing that. Nope. So each coach is, look, I still believe Dez is hurt how it ended for him in Dallas.
I agree.
And I believe he holds Jason Garrett culpable.
He does.
I believe he thinks Jason didn't fight hard enough for him.
That's a fact.
But I believe no matter what Jason Garrett had said, Jerry Jones has made it abundantly clear, Skip, when it comes to any decisions involving the Dallas Cowboys, the buck stops on his table, on his desk. He's made that abundantly clear. So I'm going to need Dez to provide some context of what he means when he says he doesn't know how to relate to black players.
Okay. I'm glad you brought up the point, axe to grind. So you have to keep it in that context. But I did appreciate that Dez is mature enough to know you have to draw a line before you go over the line, and he made it very clear, 100% he's not racist.
Right.
He just can't relate.
Right.
Well, there's a big difference, because if you're going to condemn him as he hated me because I was black, he got rid of me because I was black, okay, then we got a whole nother issue. Okay. But that's not what he did. So I'm going to take it from my side of the table over here.
Okay.
I don't believe Jason Garrett relates well to white players. I don't believe he relates well to any players.
Any of his players,
even though he was a player.
Right.
But I've called Jason this. This is an old line from Dwayne Thomas on Tom Landry, and you're old enough to know Dwayne Thomas. Starred in one Super Bowl for the Dallas Cowboys and had a classic interview after the game with Tom Brookshire.
He was the first 33.
He was. He was the first 33. He called Tom Landry, the great Tom Landry, a plastic man. And I have called as early as after the 2015 season, I said the ultimate plastic man is actually Jason Garrett. So to me, Dez is on to something that's sort of hard to describe, but Jason Garrett's not a motivator. He doesn't have much connection with black or white players in that he can't push your button.
Right.
You've had coaches. Mike Shannon knew how to push your button.
He did.
And he could bring you in, 84, and call you out just across the table, just man-to-man, one-on-one, and it worked for you. You didn't rebel against that. You thrived on it.
Right.
You flourished. You responded well to his private criticism of you because he knew that's how I motivate 84. And I need 84 because he holds the key to my whole locker room. 84 does.
Yeah.
So he was wise enough to say, okay, I got to work through 84. I can't criticize him on the practice field. I can't show him up. I definitely can't show him up in the locker room.
Right.
But I can occasionally bring him in and say, hey, I need you to whatever.
And that's how we do it. Yep.
Okay. Jason does not seem to have that ability or skill because, to me, as personable as he can be, especially with Jerry Jones, it's surface personable. It's plasticky personable, where there's no there. There's no soul to it. I'm not talking about black soul. I'm just talking about he doesn't seem to have a kind of connectability to him where you can sit down and really get to know each other.
Right.
You with me? So Dez is really onto something where Harbaugh seems to connect with, I'm sure he connects with white players too, where he just sort of gets it and he has a personality that's accessible. Right. Right?
Right.
Okay.
And the Baltimore skill, what is Baltimore known for? Big personality. Ray Lewis, Suggs. Now you have Lamar Jackson, who's quiet, but you see the way his personality is infectious.
Hey, Mark Ingram's personality has come way out since he left Sean Payton.
Yes.
Sean Payton wants to be the star of that team.
Exactly.
Right?
And so you have to understand, like, okay, it's about the players. And he's hugging and yucking it up and joking. But Skip, it's a coach by coach. The way Mike Tomlin treats his player is going to be different the way Coach Belichick treats his, and the way Sean Payton treats his, and the way so you can't, I don't really know, but that's the only coach he's had. So what is he, it's not like he had like 2 or 3 coaches and he has something to compare it to.
Yep.
I mean, I can compare it. I had Dan Reeves, I had Wade Phillips, I had Mike Shanahan, I had Brian Billick. So I can say, well, this guy was like this and that guy was like that, but he's only had one coach.
Yep. No, that's true. And by the way, Dan Reeves, who I knew very well, he had that ability to connect, but he was just so tough. He was so old school that he was hard to play for.
Yes. But he was very, very, very demanding.
Yes, very demanding. So in the end, all I know about Jason Garrett this year is 8 times in 11 games, my team has come out not motivated, not ready for kickoff because it has quickly fallen behind. And even at New England, it fell behind 10-0 and it felt like 40-0 because of the elements and because it's Foxborough, Brady, Belichick, right? So, you know, I keep telling you, I don't believe Jason Garrett could motivate a rodeo bull in the chute before the gates open. And, you know, obviously you don't even need to. But I think the bull would walk out if Jason Garrett whispered in its ear, right? So in the end, Dez is on to something. And this is the first time I appreciate what he has said because he is hitting the nail on the head.
But Skip, I think Jerry knew what he was getting when he got Jason Garrett. He knows Jason is not a motivator. You know the guys that motivate the players and get them ready to go. I remember there have been times in camp, Skip, when I on my return, that I was going to have the morning off. And, you know, that was one of the things that Mike told me, said, when you come back 84, I'm going to take care of your practice. You know, it's not like it is now. But they would, like, I was supposed to have the morning off. And Gary Kubiak would come to me and says, 84. He called Mike boss. He said, the boss want to know can you go this morning? He said, because the practice won't be the same if you're not there. Oh, no problem. Let me get my stuff. Let me get ready to go. Because that was kind of my role, Skip. You know, and I understood that. So that was how, like I said, I need Dez to give me an example of what you're talking about. If you can provide an example or give me some context to what you're just saying, he can't relate. But, I mean, playing the music, I mean.
Okay, so the all-time flip side of Jason Garrett for me was a coach I knew very well, continue to know very well, Barry Switzer, who actually had a deeper connection to my eye and my sort of observance with the black players than he did with the white players. Those black players on the 95 team, Dion, Michael Irvin, Charles Haley, they would run through the locker room wall for Barry Switzer. Deep connection of motivation. They knew when it was time to play, they were going to play hard for that coach. But he was party hard, play hard, coach. That was his whole mantra. So just be ready for kickoff.
That's Al Davis, just win. I don't care what are you going to suspend those guys for missing? No, for what? Just win.
Just the different styles for
It is.
everyone. I mean, it's interesting, and you've experienced a lot of those. Okay, guys, former Steelers great James Harrison is going to join us to discuss the Steelers-Browns fight and what to expect in the rematch on Sunday. I can't believe the rematch is already here. That is next.